In the realm of transforming the intangible into tangible realities, within the spaces of creativity and humility, lies our capacity to actualize any dream into our lived experience. It's imperative to have faith in this principle, recognizing the universe's boundless support. The individual who grasps this concept is the one who catalyzes such a transformation. Nothing happens without his cognizance. Frequently, we find ourselves lost in the belief that we are mere cogs in an enormous, deterministic machine, yet as we advance in our spiritual journey, we break free from this notion to shape our existence through sheer will. William Blake eloquently stated that humanity is the essence of pure imagination, and that God exists within us as much as we exist within Him. We have the power to dream. I can dream, and if we remain loyal to our visualizations, what we dream will materialize. This philosophy is not novel. It has resonated for millennia in a text known as the Bible, although its profound meaning has often been misunderstood, transforming it from a tool of emancipation to one of restriction. The Bible intricately outlines how to bring the world of our imagination into the physical realm. I seek to illuminate specific biblical verses to uncover the original intentions of their authors. Therefore, Jehovah, the Lord, declares, "In Zion, I have placed a foundation stone, a tested and precious cornerstone for a secure foundation. Whoever believes will not act hastily." Isaiah 28 verse 16. The Psalms mention that the world was oblivious to the cornerstone. The stone the builders discarded has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118 verse 22. If anyone constructs on this foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, or straw, their work will be made evident, as it will be revealed by the day. 1 Corinthians 3 verses 12 to 13. I propose that this cornerstone is your imagination, referred to in the Bible as Jesus Christ. The Lord or God is your imagination, that divine creativity that initiates, maintains, transforms, and even destroys aspects of the universe. This is the tested cornerstone whose foundation is unshakable, and those who rely on it will never falter. If I simply dream, aware that this shapes my reality, then I shall not grow impatient or lead a life lacking substance. When one does not reside in their imagination, they become impatient for the outcomes they desire and, ultimately, resort to coercion to achieve their goals. Who do you say I am? And Simon Peter answers, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus then says, "Blessed are you, Simon, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock, I will build my church." Matthew 16 verses 13 to 18. Churches interpret this as referring to a man named Peter, but it's not about an individual. This unfolds within the mind of each person, daily through imagination but with belief and emotion. You, visualizing yourself in a specific way, are Peter. If it were about a man named Peter, the following verses wouldn't make sense, where he is scolded and told, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." He receives a revelation, then understands that the essential cornerstone is imagination. He envisions a friend in distress, imagines the opposite, that the friend is flourishing, without concerns, and doesn't suggest anything a friend could physically do to improve his situation, only imagines positive outcomes. If the cornerstone is true, then there is only one power that can sustain it. Knowing this, he won't deviate from his belief and will stay true to what he has embraced as truth. Yet, it's narrated in the Bible that the one who was praised, Peter, departed from his stance of faith and showed irritation when Jesus admonished him, saying, "Get behind me, Satan. You are resorting to human reasoning to fulfill your objectives. You discard all other supports, exposing yourself to a single foundation in this world, which is Jesus Christ or your human imagination. But if you have faith in what you imagine, the foundation remains solid." Stone in Hebrew signifies creation, building, procreation. Here, a stone upon doesn't imply a desolate landscape, an initially empty space, signifying humanity was like a barren land before the stone was placed upon it. And it resides in humanity as imagination. This is the unique cornerstone because there is no other foundation for the living God. Therefore, I am a son of the living God because there is only one living God, and I am He. Believing in this, I shall never fear. He who believes in me will never be afraid, Isaiah 28 verse 16. This is the path of the Lord, I urge you to follow it. Only visualize what you wish to bring into your life. It could be success in an endeavor or a friend's victory. It could be anything, because upon this foundation you can place wood, gold, or straw. You use straw to build on that foundation when you speak negatively of someone or a situation, reflecting what you expect for them, and what you expect happens. Then you say, I knew they would act in such a way, or I knew that would happen. Of course, you knew because you were visualizing on the only existing foundation, laying straw instead of gold, and the daylight revealed it. And we fail to realize that we are the architects of that revelation. One interpretation in Hebrew for stone is to give life. All the events of our lives are our offspring. Each of us can utilize that singular foundation, imagination, to mold or give life to the events of our existence. I'm placing upon it a stone. Which stone? God manifesting in all of us as the true stone, a cornerstone, precious, and whoever believes in it will not fear and will not become anxious, thinking there is another foundation. And like Peter, you'll seek another foundation, showing frustration with those who led Jesus to the crucifixion. Then Jesus told me, I came to be crucified. Get behind me, Satan. You are an impediment to me. But if you believe you are part of a deterministic system, then you assume that events occur by chance. Let destiny unfold, for each must tread their path until they awaken and see the universe as infinitely accommodating. Individuals often become entangled in the reality they have crafted, losing sight of the fact that they are the ones who empower this reality. Without their influence, this reality would cease to exist. For example, through the power of their imagination, a person may draw wealth into their life, only to later forget that it was their own mental efforts that initiated this attraction. They begin to see the wealth itself as the source of all their success, overlooking the fact that the true power lies in the very thing that attracted the wealth in the first place, their imagination. However, once an individual awakens to this truth, they no longer surrender their power to the constructs they have created and attracted. This leads me to affirm that there exists only one foundational cornerstone upon which everything is built or formed. Consider the scenario where you remember someone who is ill and in need of help, and you visualize the best outcome for them. If you later learn that their situation has worsened, do not despair or become fearful. Instead, maintain your steadfast faith in the foundational cornerstone laid in Zion. What should you do after visualizing? Suppose a friend shares a problem with you, and you visualize this problem being resolved for them but take no further action. You remain faithful to your vision, and the conditions necessary for the resolution will naturally arise. Our interconnectedness means that the more we think positively or negatively about someone, the more we bind ourselves to that person. Recognizing that the universe is infinitely accommodating allows us to receive far more than what we initially envision. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, Luke 6 verse 38. Therefore, harboring negative thoughts can lead to unfavorable life outcomes, as both good and bad seeds can flourish abundantly. The world gives back to each person more of what it receives, in both thoughts and actions. I declare the Bible to be the most magnificent and profound book ever written. Yet, many scholars spend their time searching for the physical remains of Peter or other biblical figures. However, Peter is not just a figure from history, he represents an enduring state of being. States are constant, whereas I am a fluid entity, constantly moving between states. Sometimes, I am Peter, following my Christ, and at other times, I am Noah, ridiculed by the masses. Peter proclaimed, "You are the Christ," establishing the foundation of all beliefs. However, when Peter strayed from this belief, succumbing to anger, he was called Satan. The supreme deity, God, sifts through the foundation of Christ, the essence of imagination that resides within us all, though often unnoticed. These are the concepts I discuss openly in my seminars, though such ideas might be censored on public platforms. The notion that individuals craft their realities through their imaginations, and thus bear the consequences, is a difficult concept for many to accept. Despite this, no other foundation can be laid than the one already in place, Jesus Christ. Yet, on this foundation, one can build anything. Thus, choose to build with precious materials. I remember a man who, and then, the building materialized. I have shared this story before, yet he lacked the financial means to acquire that building. Nevertheless, he visualized his name on it. Against all odds, the building became his. Let no one dictate what you can achieve or become. Refuse to be a cog in an uncontrollable machine. Do not wait for fortune to find you, instead, become the architect of your fortune. Stay alert and navigate your destiny. The so-called wisdom of the world might escape you, but as they speak, you will perceive only fortunate coincidence. Father, you have hidden these truths from the wise and learned, and revealed them to the innocent. Then, you will see yourself as the architect of existence, understanding that reality extends only as far as your perceptions. Since the dawn of time, imagination has been the architect of our world. Our imagination not only shapes our reality but also opens the door to limitless possibilities. This foundational element, our imagination, given to every individual, holds the divine power to turn the abstract into the concrete. This gift, deeply intertwined with the divine, invites us to take responsibility for our realities, recognizing that each thought, each mental image, sows a seed in the garden of our lives. The Bible, rather than being a document of limitations, acts as a manual for liberation through the power of imagination, showcasing through various examples how faith, combined with visualization, can lead to significant changes and miracles. Abraham, destined to be the father of nations, did not see his or Sarah's advanced age as obstacles but instead envisioned and believed in the promise. His reality was shaped by his faith and imagination. This ancient story is not just a relic of the past but a vibrant demonstration of how faith-filled imagination can overcome the perceived limits of physical or temporal barriers. Consider also Joseph, who dreamed of his siblings bowing down to him. Despite enduring years of adversity, Joseph held on to his vision, which eventually became his reality. His story confirms that current hardships do not determine our ultimate destiny, rather, it is our unwavering dedication to our inner vision that guides us through challenges to the fulfillment of our dreams. These biblical narratives underscore a universal truth: we are co-creators of our reality. The key is to realize that our imagination, when fueled by faith, knows no boundaries. What we passionately envision manifests in our tangible experiences, affirming that we are made in the image of an infinite creator. Embracing this truth allows us to move beyond seeing ourselves as mere victims of circumstance and instead, to step into the role of deliberate creators of our destiny. In this co-creative process, it's essential to remember that our imagination does not work in isolation. Each act of love, every vision of peace, every dream of joy not only reshapes our personal reality but also contributes to the collective fabric of our shared existence. By envisioning a better world, we lay the foundation for its realization. Such is the true power of this cornerstone, to transform vision into reality, not just for oneself but for the entire global community. A child was cared for by his aunt while his father struggled to gather funds for a reunion. For 7 years, his efforts seemed in vain. He continually visualized himself earning a higher income, which would enable him to afford the journey to see his child. He knew that visualizing his son was crucial and left the how to divine timing. Eventually, he secured a job in Los Angeles, far from his son. Despite this, he seized the opportunity, steadfast in his dream. Within 3 months, a transfer to a Sydney branch occurred, requiring his presence only once a week. Ultimately, he was reunited with his son, just as he had envisioned. God manifests through our magnificent human imagination. He is present because we can imagine. Thus, begin to visualize an aspect of your life that fills you with pride. Elevate that vision to your cornerstone in Zion, undeterred by disbelief in this foundation, and whatever you build upon this foundation will stand as a strong structure in your world. You may momentarily act like Peter and deny this cornerstone 3 times, but you will always return to it, for deep within, Christ commands, "Get behind me, Satan." I have seen skeptics achieve remarkable things, only to later claim, this would have happened regardless of my imaginative efforts. They fail to recognize that their imaginative actions laid the foundation for their successes. However, the undeniable truth remains that there is only one foundation upon which this world stands, and that foundation is our wondrous human imagination.